All right, welcome everyone. Lovely to see you all again today. I'm Keryn Lee and I'm with Colleen O'Brien, and we are the two Unholy Healers. We have a topic today of creating community with other healers, and we're super excited to bring this to you today. Of course, this is something that's been big for both Colleen and myself, obviously, working as healers, working together for the last couple of years, contributing to each other for the last couple of years, working together with the this podcast for what, maybe 6 months or so. Colleen, would it be that about
I think
6 months?
so. I think our first episode was in late April. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and hello. Thank you for the like. Thanks for joining us. We love when people are able to come here live, and also thank you for the likes for those of you who are watching the replay too. But yes, Two Unholy Healers has been going on for, gosh, I guess that's, what is that? If we say we started in May and it's already November, like that's 6 months.
That's
We've
six
probably been going on
months.
for six
Yeah.
months. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
awesome. We've got
us.
Catherine here today. She says, "Good morning, lovelies. Good morning to you too, hun. It's great to have you joining us. Not in the car today, I see, so you can actually make comments, which is nice. So let's get started. Colleen, would you like to lead us off today? What would you like to share about creating community with other healers?
Well, I wanted to share that this was something I really struggled with for a long time, and it wasn't because I wasn't trying, right? Like even before I became a theta healer, and even after I became a theta healer, like it was just really hard for me to kind of find my peeps, right? Like I would go
Yeah,
to, I'd be going on Meetup, I'd be hunting for different things, and sometimes it would just be like, oh wow, like this just isn't my scene. And other times, like I was sharing this story with Keryn in the green room, I was like, there was this one meditation that I went to that I must have been the first new person they had in ages, because they were like, oh my God, come to this next thing. You know what? We're having this potluck dinner. Oh my God, do you want to come out to dinner? Do you want to do this? They were like so desperate. They didn't want me to leave, which of course was so repellent. I was like, no, I'm good. I just wanted to meditate with you guys. Like, I'm thanks. And I never went back because that desperation energy is never good. Hello, Hannah. Thanks so much for coming. It's good to see you. It can be a tough thing. And so don't give up, because when you find your peeps, it's really, really magical. But for me, I found that I had to go to other countries and other time zones to find the people that I was connected to.
yeah,
It can sometimes, because this is it's not a space that a lot of us grow up in. And people even call it alternative, or woo woo or whatever. Like it already kind of gets marginalized to begin with.
yeah.
And then sometimes too, you may find somebody that you connect with and you work with, and then at a certain point you guys drift apart, and that's okay too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'll share one of my own experiences when I really started to reach out and collaborate more and work with others. So for many years, I'd been doing the whole solo healer thing. And in fact, for probably 30 years prior to that, the solo journey in life, that whole personal transformation, spiritual development, it is a very solo journey often. And so but then I started doing more healing work, working professionally as a healer, and still doing the solo thing. And then one day I was a theta healer at the time, but I was also an access bars practitioner and instructor. And I was teaching one of my early access bars classes, and I had an uneven number of people. And I thought, who can I reach out to feel, to come in and be another, body on the table? And I really didn't know anyone in the community. So I just had a look I don't know whether it was on Facebook or, wherever it was. And I found another lady who was doing access bars, not too far from me, less than a half-hour drive from me. And I, excuse me, I just kind of felt the energy and thought, yep, she feels like a good fit. So I reached out to her. She said, oh my God, that would be amazing. I'd love to come and help. Her name was Lorraine, and she's probably going to be listening to this now or later. So, hello, lovely. And we became really good friends, and we collaborated on many different things. We've joined with another lady since then, and have collaborated on many things, bringing instructors into Adelaide, working at expos together, all of that sort of thing. But from that very one experience of me reaching out to actually ask for support, it changed everything for me, and everything really opened up so that now I have a beautiful support network. I feel comfortable reaching out to other healers. We got together a couple of years ago, met and connected as friends, and then that grew into, hey, let's share this energy with others, and grew into this podcast. So, I think that's an important point for us to be willing to get out of our own little comfort zone, reach out to someone that resonates with you, like really feel the energy. Because like in your experience in the beginning, Colleen, there was just that the energy wasn't lining up with where you were at and where they were at. And as you start to do that, also being willing to receive that support and that energy and that collaboration from others as well. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, definitely. Because I absolutely take responsibility for how I was showing up in those early years when I was, going to the different meetings and trying to find other people that, yeah, maybe like I was way different then than I am now. But maybe I was that desperate person, right? As much as I make fun of the people who are like, oh my God, come to our thing, come do more stuff with us. Like maybe I was that repellent person in those other organizations and other groups that are just like, oh God, we hope she doesn't come back again. She was the worst.
Yeah, and these things are always a reflection of our energy and where we're at. So they're great learning experiences. Yeah. So, guys that are with us today, anyone want to pop some comments in the chat? How did you feel about collaborating with others, and perhaps what's something that you did to sort of help yourself get out of that? So feel free to share where you're at with that.
Yeah, and I will say, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to share one of the collaborating experiences with my Lorene and this other lady. One of the early things that we did was an expo together, quite a big expo. And I want to share this story because this shows when three people show up that are doing the exact same modality, it's something different happens for everyone. So we came together, and what was beautiful in collaborating together was we all had different skills and talents that we brought to it. Lorene is just amazing at kind of decorating and just adding that extra touch to everything. So she just made it look beautiful. Whereas me, I'm just like, well, just put the seats in, everything will be fine. Like I'm not one of those final touch people. It's just not my thing. So she took care of that. And each of us just kind of stepped into what was going to be a contribution to the group. There was no need to really point out, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that. It just all unfolded organically. We had so much fun together. But the most important thing was none of us felt in competition with the other. And it was interesting to watch as clients came into the booth that day, that they were automatically, organically drawn to one of us. And so there was no need for that competition anyway, because the energy that we were putting out was attracting the people that was right for each of us. And, we all have our own unique talents. We all have the types of people that we work with. We all have the skills that we have to offer our clients and so on. So it's like competition is kind of obsolete if you're in that flow of energy and awareness of what you're creating in your life and what you're supporting others to create in their lives as well.
Yeah. And if you want to be in that energy of support and receiving, like competition is the opposite of that. It's cutting other people down.
Yeah.
And it really is based in lack. Like, oh, I'm not good enough myself to outcreate myself and be in competition with myself, that I got to go make other people look bad or injure other people. Sometimes it's, outright, cat fights, right? Like some people can be really nasty about it when they feel threatened in that way. And it's great drama, right? It's great. You can make a whole Netflix series on that sort of thing. But you don't need that at an expo. You don't need that when you're trying to attract clients and really serve them, right? So, and again, I think a lot of it is rooted in in being able to ask for and accept support. And I think that's beautiful that, you know, you guys were all there as access practitioners, and you were, you know, you were able to serve, you know, exactly the people that you were each were attracting, and that together you were creating something greater. Right. Exactly. Because it wasn't like, you know, and it just was so much easier for people who were searching for access stuff at that expo as well, because they didn't have to go to 3 different booths. It was all there, you know, and so you could draw in and really piggyback on one another's energy to pull all of that in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's really important what you just said then about, you know, that I can't even remember the wordings that you use, but when you're doing something on your own, there is an energy to that, and you're creating something amazing. When you come together with someone else or a number of people, that energy expands. So whatever you create is completely, it grows, it gets bigger, it is contributed to in, you know, by the universe in so many different ways, and it creates something greater. And also, just with what we're creating here with this podcast, you have brought people from your community. You have, you know, shared this in your community. I have shared this in my community. So there are 2 communities that have come together, but we've also created a new community by the collaboration that we have created together. So we started off with just, you know, 1 + 1, and we've created 3 because we've actually created a new community by what we've done. So
yeah.
And Catherine has a question, so I'll let you jump into that.
She does. Yes. Let's see. I'm not sure how much of this is gonna. Oh, I think it's all gonna fit. Yay! Sometimes with the larger comments, I'm not sure they're all gonna fit. So Catherine's asking to please speak on discernment. She's had some yucky experiences. I love that word, yucky. Thank you, Catherine. She's had some yucky experiences with other 3D healers. I know, 3D people, right? Like when, anyway, but they, you know, they can trick you with that, like smoke and mirrors, right? Like they've got, you know, they talk a good game, or, you know, they're telling you exactly what you want to hear. And then you find out later, you know, their true colors. So do you have anything about this discernment? Is anything coming for you, Keryn, that you got?
Absolutely. One of the things I would say is it comes back to what's going on within you. So I would ask the question, what was going on in your world where you were actually creating experiences with people that were untrustworthy? And okay, so what's just coming in is there actually a past life connected with this? And the wording smoke and mirrors was really interesting, Catherine. There definitely felt like something connected to that with this past life, and this may have been something that you've cleared anyway. However, I think the discernment comes from trusting yourself, trusting what you put out in the world, going into that with the best intention, and really knowing what you want to create from the experience, how it's going to work for you. This comes back to self-care. It's not about what you're going to get out of it. It's about what's right for you. And it just feels like there was a little bit of funky energy going into that. So before you collaborate with someone, first of all, ask the question, is this going to be fun for me? Is this something that is really, joyful and fun for me to do? Because if you go into it with that energy, then you bring that to the party, and that's going to create something amazing. But if you go in from a space of obligation, or that you need to help them, or any of that funky stuff, then you create some of those barriers and some of those obstacles along the way, and funky 3D people.
Yeah, I remember a good friend of mine who I met in a theta healing class, that we were having a chat after class, and I was like, can I just unload for a minute? Like, and so I told my little story about what was going on, and then she was just like, yeah, I have a saying for that. She just goes, 3D people. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed. So that was why I kind of, when you put 3D in there, Catherine, I was like, that was exactly what came to my head. Like, 3D people. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Catherine. I'm glad. Those past lives, sometimes they're really fun. And, particularly when you don't really know what's going on, you're like, why does this person so like weird? Why do they set me off whenever they say something? Or like, if somebody else had said that, I probably wouldn't have reacted that way. Like usually there's some underlying, like funkiness or yucky energy there to be explored. So yeah, but that is a good point, right? That Keryn made about, what are you going in there for? Is it fun or is it desperation, right? Because if you're going in and being magnetic and attracting other people to you in that higher vibrational energy, that is by and large the experience that you're going to have. But I would say, don't get discouraged if something really, it's a little bit of a bumpy ride, because people, we're all humans and we all kind of have good days and bad days, ourselves included. And so overall, like if you remember the future, or you ask those questions like, hey, what am I going to get out of this? And it's a really positive thing. And then you have like a couple like not so positive experiences. That's where true discernment really comes in, where you got to reevaluate, like, okay, is it time for me to cut and run? Is this something else that I got to learn from? Am I even still in that same space where this is still fun for me? Because like I said, I've connected with some other healers, we do some swaps for a little while and then we kind of grow apart, and, that's perfect. That's okay. Right. It's sort of that, some people are here for a lifetime and some people are here just for, a couple acts of your life. So, and you got to allow for that, and don't beat yourself up about that when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody changes and grows. People move on to different things, and it's not a reflection of the wrongness. It's actually like, okay, cool. I received something from that. They received something from that. Now we all move on to the next step. And I think, in terms of how we show up for something that we're collaborating with others, this podcast is a great example. We were having these amazing chats. Hi, Stacey. We wanted to share the energy out with others. Yeah, this sounds great. Let's have fun. Let's do some podcasts. That was where the collaboration began. It began from that energy of fun and joy and sharing, with absolutely no expectation of what this would create. But hey, we're having a fun conversation. Let's include some other people in it. When you start with something like that is just plain fun, you are always going to create something greater from it. Whether this lasts for another month or another year or another 10 years or whatever, like Colleen said, we'll do it for as long as it's fun for us to do. At some point, the energy will change and it may grow into something different, or it may just dwindle off. Who knows? That doesn't actually matter at this point. What matters is that we're here, we're having fun. We're super excited that you guys are showing up either now or later to be part of that creating energy. And but it is always based in what's fun for us to do. And I think if you go into anything with that, not from the perspective of having to save, rescue, heal, fix, etc., then you're going to be really on the right track with it all. And just to add to that, I had a basic theta healing class that was scheduled for early December, which I've just cancelled because I realized that I was doing it for the people in it. Like, one particular lady who I felt, needed this support, and the other lady who'd been looking forward to the class for so long. And I realized that I was actually forcing it for them. And, this is just one of those little underlying people pleaser energies. And it's like, okay, that's not actually going to create something greater if I do that. So I cancelled it. I pushed it forward into early next year. All of the people were happy to go ahead and do that. But this is going to create something far greater in the long run by me being willing to say, this is actually just not fun for me right now. Let's change that to something different. So we have to be willing to put ourselves first, and we have to be willing to actually be honest about when something is not working for us.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to do that, and a lot of courage, because conventional wisdom will tell you to like, nope, that's when you dig your heels in, that's when you put more effort in, that's when you make it work, because you've already got the sunk cost, you've already made the decision, you've already got to get something out of it, and that just makes you more miserable. Like that just compounds on to it not being any more fun. Now, Keryn, I don't know about you, but when people ask me like, oh yeah, like how did you start the podcast, and I was like, oh well, we were already talking to one another once a month. We just added another one in and did it fortnightly and just invited other people to eavesdrop in. We just did it because it was fun. We were already doing it for ourselves. And they were like, really? Like they thought it was going to be much more difficult than that. Now I will say we did put a lot of work in after we decided to do it, in terms of, exploring what tools we were going to use and, making sure we got the name and putting the graphics together, but it didn't feel like work. It wasn't until after we were done. Yeah. But it wasn't until after we were done. I was like, wow, we spent a lot of hours on that. Like, cause during the time, and, I got to learn how brilliant Keryn is at putting, graphics together and watch her do it.
And vice versa.
So, and we don't really have like a hard, fast, contract in terms of expectations, in terms of what one of us is going to do and what the other one is going to do. We're really able to go with the flow. And I think a lot of that is because we're not really attached to us, having to sell to advertisers or needing to have a wide enough audience, or, it's just going to be whatever it's going to be. Because it's fun, it's something that we enjoy investing our time and energy into. And once it becomes a chore, well, then we'll have to change something up or reevaluate it. But right now we're just really delighted that so many of you are here and coming in for us as well. Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. And a huge big shout out to Colleen, because you do most of the graphics now, and let's say all of the graphics at the moment. And
but that banner, that was all you.
Yeah, but it's like I just wanted to acknowledge that, because that is something that it's an ongoing thing, and just with where I've been at recently, it just hasn't been easy for me to do that. So this was not even a conversation we had, just Colleen just kind of jumped in and did that. And, I've mentioned a couple of times that if that's not fun anymore, if we need to change that, that's okay. And I trust that she will be open about that. And this is where we have to come into that space of trusting each other enough to honor ourselves, that if any point that she was feeling like, man, this is just a drag, I need a hand with this, that she would actually say that. You have to also trust the other person enough that they will take care of themselves as well. And I think that's important in a collaboration too.
Absolutely. Because, it might not seem it to you guys, but Keryn and I do have lives outside of Two Unholy Healers.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Which is why it's so fun for us to get together, every 2 weeks, because they're like, oh my God, how often have we gotten on? And we're like, so much has happened since we talked last. So this is really just an excuse for us to catch up with one another, and you guys are just listening in. So but we're delighted to have you here. I know a couple, thank you so much all for being here. If there's anything else you guys want to add, because we are going to be wrapping up in a few minutes too, but if there's anything else you wanted to contribute in the comments, those of you who are watching live, now's your time, because like I said, we could talk for hours, we really could, but
we don't want to overstay our welcome.
always leave them wanting more, right?
Exactly. And while we just wait to see if there's any comments, let's also just mention next in a fortnight, our next episode is all about working with angels. So that's going to be a fun episode, something that we haven't done before. We want to keep these episodes nice and fresh and lots of different topics. So angels will be the next episode. Anything to share on that, Colleen?
On angels, well, it could go. There's so many different ways to work with angels, and it is kind of a nice, light, inviting energy. I think it's a really great entry point for some people as well. Like, oh yeah, I'll work with the angels. I had actually, I wasn't really big into angels until I actually had a dream. And I usually wasn't, very visual. This was before my third eye, and I was working on my clairvoyance and everything. And there was this, beautiful young blonde angel there. And it was a lucid dream. I remember asking her, I was like, who are you? And she introduced herself and said, I am Archangel Ariel. Oh, thanks, Stacy. Yes, awesome energy. And I was like, oh, okay. And I had no idea who Archangel Ariel was. I thought, you're named after the Little Mermaid. What the heck is this? Because I had like no clue. And then very shortly after that, I found a deck of tarot cards, Archangel tarot cards. And the image on the cover of the box was exactly the woman I had seen in my dream.
Wow, that's cool.
And she was, labeled as Archangel Ariel. It was the strength card. And I was like, oh, whoa. Like, I had never really experienced anything quite like that. So working with the angels can be quite profound. But I find that they're very accessible. But there's a lot of historical stuff there. Like, I don't know where the conversation is going to go. But it's, the holiday season has started here. You talk a lot, angels are kind of a big thing in the whole holiday story, end of the year thing. So I'm hoping it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and so bring your angel stories, guys. Bring your angel stories.
We have a couple of our own, and I know that some of you out there will have plenty, especially Catherine and I have a feeling. And so let's finish off there for today. Let's kind of start wrapping this up. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time, same bat channel. Don't forget, Colleen and I have beautiful books that you can certainly think about for Christmas presents for people, Secret Healer's Business and Reasons You Are Not a Better Healer. We love to share them with all of you. We don't want to keep harping on about that, but we do love to share. So, just consider that for a gift for others.
And thank you to all of you who have bought them already and reviewed them. Yes, yes. Tell your friends.
Yes, that's right. I have a manifesting class coming up this weekend. If you're not this weekend, the weekend after, if you're in Adelaide. Now, Colleen, you've got your Healathon coming up. Share about that.
Yes. Talk about collaborating and creating community with other healers. I have had such a great time connecting with other Theta healers who are participating in this event, and it's coming up this weekend. Friday, my time, is going to be Saturday morning for those of you in Australia, and there's still time to get your tickets. And I think I still have some openings. If any of you wanted to have a one-on-one mini session with me for a ridiculously low price, you can book that when you get your ticket. So all of the information is at healathon.com. I'm going to be talking about the magic of time. I'm going to be talking about all the ways we as Theta healers have, well, not all the ways. I'm just going to talk about 5 ways we as Theta, because it's only a 30-minute talk. I'm going to talk about 5 ways that we as Theta healers have available to us to manipulate time. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that talk will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I believe is noon Adelaide time. Did we double check that?
I think we didn't double check, but I think it is about noon. So
people
can look that up anyway.
Exactly. So I'm sorry, I just blah, 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 blah about the Healathon. So but that's coming up.
And that was a good thing to mention, because there's a beautiful collaboration of a whole lot of Theta healers coming together and sharing. I think it is going to be totally wicked. Thanks, Stacey.
Yeah, Stacey's going to be in the Healathon. So is Hannah. She said she's so happy. Yeah.
Excellent. That will be really great. And guys, if you get to do one of these little sessions with Colleen, it will blow your mind. She is super, super amazing. And for the very low price that these sessions are going to be, I highly recommend that you jump in and do this session with her. She is lots of fun to work with, which is why I work regularly with her in our beautiful swaps that we do together. And it takes us all day. We set aside the whole day to chat a lot, do a swap. Sometimes we add the podcast in as well. There's the whole day gone. So every fortnight I allow a day for this amazing connection with her. So guys, jump in and don't miss out on that. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have we mentioned everything, Colleen? No, we look forward to seeing you in a fortnight. Have we mentioned everything?
I think so. Of course, you can go to either one of our websites as well. I have a couple online classes coming up in December, so you can check that out at my website. And of course, if you're interested in Keryn's manifesting class, it's going to be in person in Adelaide. And then, get on her mailing list, because I know she's going to have some classes coming up in January after the first of the year. So get on her mailing list so you can be the first to find out about those.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Mwah. Take care, and we will see you in a couple of weeks' time.